All right. All right. Welcome to Speaking of Zane. Wow. Strange edition here, Monday night. Although we have done a handful of Monday nights before, we had a lot going on yesterday. And man, I just could not get in the groove for yesterday. So we decided to push it off to tonight. And it's good to have y'all in here for the October 3rd edition of Speaking of Zane. 208 weeks, 208 weeks that we've been doing this. But good to have you in there. Hello there, Matt, Aaron up in Michigan. Daryl Cottrell there in the St. Louis Metro, Florissant, Missouri to be exact. Colin Krim in Albuquerque. Remember the old Bugs Bunny cartoon? Take a left at Albuquerque. Colin Krim. And Lori should be in here anytime. She wasn't with us last week, and she's going to tell you why. Maybe not tonight, but on an upcoming Speaking of Zane. But we're going to make tonight pretty brief because we got to get up early tomorrow. We are going to be driving to Florida, actually. Hey, Ken. Ken's in there. Carl's in there. Carl and Peggy from Warsaw, Missouri. Good to have everybody in there. But so Lori is home. Lori was out of pocket for about a week, and she wants to share, maybe we'll do it next week. She wants to share why that is and a little bit about that, and I think it'll benefit everybody. But since we were last together, Hurricane Ian hit Florida and really devastated Bonita Springs, Fort Myers, that whole southwest coast of Florida. I'm hearing from some of my colleagues down there, entire houses just disappeared. A friend of mine who's an Army vet, his folks' house is totally gone down there. Just a terrible situation. But so that's why Lori and I are heading that. Well, twofold. Lori's doctor told her to get away and spend some time at My Warrior's Place down near Tampa. You guys know about My Warrior's Place. And the doctors thought that would be a good place for Lori to sort of regroup. And then the hurricane comes along, and now Kelly needs some help cleaning up there. So I've decided to go along. And so Lori and I are going to drive down there tomorrow morning. And I've got a work crew of colleagues at work, fellow veterans that are going to come out on Wednesday, some on Thursday. And then we're just going to do whatever needs to be done on the property there at My Warrior's Place in Ruskin. Now, Tampa got off relatively easy compared to what was forecasted. What happened in Fort Myers, Bonita Springs, is what was forecasted to happen in Tampa, St. Pete, but fortunately it did not. But Kelly did sustain some wind damage and stuff at My Warrior's Place. So we're just going to spend some time getting things cleaned up and doing a few little repairs and stuff on Wednesday and Thursday. And I think Lori and I are planning to stay there through all of next week, maybe till about the 14th of October, something like that. And I may be doing some helping out in some other areas. My work is mobilizing to do some things down there. And we've got quite a few folks at our company that work all along the west coast of Florida. And so we're going to make sure everybody's okay. And so we'll see how it goes. But and by the way, thank those of you that have actually helped financially. My Warrior's Place, Kelly put out a plea for financial assistance, and they can always use that. And I know a number of you have stepped up, so thank you for that. And we'll be sure to document our activities there and take some pictures and let you guys know how things are going. And I guess it's likely that we'll be doing Speaking of Zane from My Warrior's Place on Sunday night, this coming Sunday night. Now, we've done Speaking of Zane from My Warrior's Place on a couple of occasions, and it's one of my favorite places to do it from. So we will let you guys know. All right, let's see. Anything else about that, Lori? I don't think so. But we'll keep you guys in the loop on what's going on down there. But I've got folks at work that are going to come help out there. We had planned on going down sometime in November as a regular, on a regular cadence, but we're just accelerating that a little bit because of the hurricane. So, all right, there's Jimbo Miller in there. Hey, Jimbo. There's my dad in there. Hey, Dad. Good to have you in there. Now, see, so Dad, you just heard me talking about going down there and helping at my Warriors place. My first thought was, I want my dad to come down there. I want my dad to come down there and help me because my dad can do anything. I mean, anything, electrical, plumbing, construction, anything. And I thought, man, I could use him down there. But with my mom, my sister works and she does such a phenomenal job of helping look after my mom, but my mom just can't be on her own. So I know that Dad can't break away, but Dad, you're the first one I thought of. But I would love to take you down there sometime. I know that there's special consideration involved, though, there with Mom and everything. But okay, let's see. Well, on a positive note, the Braves are in first place outright in the National League East after sweeping the Mets over the weekend, 2 games ahead. But they're not faring so well right now against the Marlins. They're down 4-0 in the 7th. But anyway, that's baseball right there, buddy. That is baseball. That's why I love it, and I don't wish them to alter the game of baseball from Abner Doubleday days. Anyway, you got it, Dad. Maybe you and I can go down there sometime and just fish or something. But all right, let's see. What do we got here? What do we got? Weight loss. I'm steady at 60 pounds. Steady at 60. So how about that? Now, how about this? Now, I didn't even tell Lori this yet, but I was walking on Friday. I do 3-mile walk every afternoon, about 6 o'clock. So, and if you do a walk like this in your neighborhood, you see the same people over and over again. And I've been doing this walk since March. So every day since March, I've been walking this same route in the neighborhood. And so you see the same people and you say hi. So a lot of walkers, runners, bikers, people out on their porch. And anyway, so I see this guy who I see all the time. He's got a German Shepherd. And German Shepherd's very well mannered, very well trained, and he always has them on a leash. And so, no big deal. But I'm walking past them on Friday, and the dog's off the leash, and the dog is doing his business, and just off the sidewalk. And the owner's there with him and everything. And I totally owner high and I walked right on past. Well, I think in the dog's mind, I may have gotten a little bit too close, honestly. So in the blink of an eye, the dog completed his business and lunged at me and bit the fire out of my right thigh. And I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. And I didn't screech out like a little girl, but I was shocked. And I turned around to look at the owner and he says, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay. He just wants to play." I'm like, he wants to play to the tune of puncture wounds in my thigh? That's not playing. But anyway, fortunately, it was my thigh and not my hand or some other area in it. And So my thigh muscle was able to absorb that bite. Um, but anyway, I kept on about my business. I got my 10,000 steps in on Friday, and anyway, I haven't seen him since. But it, uh, it scared me. It's the first time that's ever happened to me. But and he bit through my shorts. Now, if he'd a bit lower than the shorts, it would have definitely caused problems. But there are two two wounds there, and that's very bruised now. But anyway, that's a powerful bite. But anyway, enough about that. Um, let's see what else is going on here. Um, oh, some of you, and by the way, thank you again, those of you that have actually helped out. But you probably saw I started this little GoFundMe. I've never done a GoFundMe for anything. And my son Jackson, the Air Force veteran, he had to get out of the Air Force on a medical separation, unfortunately, after 4 years. And he's got a disability rating and all that, and he's still trying to transition, successfully. And he has a dream to be a pilot. He wants to be a commercial pilot or be a professional pilot. And you guys know that he's been in this pilot training for about over a year now, and because of COVID and all of this and that, it's just taken so much time. And anyway, the cost of a lesson is phenomenal. The rental of the plane and the cost of the fuel, and it's like almost doubled since when he started because of the inflation and the gas prices and everything. Anyway, so I'm helping him. I'm going to make sure he gets through it and everything, and gets his last. He only needs maybe another 5 or so, flights to his check ride and all that. But it costs about $500 a flight. It's incredible. And and if the flight's not just right, if weather stops it, that doesn't count. And it's a burden. I mean, it's an amazing thing. And the thing about it is the VA doesn't cover the private pilot's license. Now they will cover everything after that, multi-engine, instrument rating, all of that stuff the VA is going to pay for. But they don't for the private pilot. I don't know if they want to see if you're committed or whatever, but he's committed. I mean, the guy's working a full-time job and going to college full-time and taking flight lessons. Anyway, I'm going to make sure he gets through it and everything. But I thought there might be some folks out there that, wanted to be part of helping a veteran transition, disabled veteran transition. And the guy's working his butt off. Anyway, thank you for those of you that have stepped up and helped in that. I certainly don't expect everybody to do that, but if there's anybody worthy of some assistance, it's that young man. He has done such an awesome job. And he's our kid that Lori tells it better than I do. The kid didn't talk till he was almost 5. And, they told us don't expect too much out of him. Well, gosh, the guy ended up, serving in the Air Force for 4 years. He was a gunner on the Ghost Rider gunships. The guy excelled, honor grad at basic. I mean, just a phenomenal story, and a wonderful husband and father to our little granddaughter, Carson. But anyway, thank you guys for that. Let's see. What else is going on? Oh, you know what? Something that I should have done a better job of, and I'm trying to find the recording. There's an organization here in Georgia called Georgia Run for the Fallen, and they have an annual race. They do about a 200-mile run. They start in Milledgeville and they end up in Fort Benning. And every mile, it takes them 3 days to do this. Every mile of the 200 miles, they stop and they read out the names of Georgia fallen. Phenomenal. And last year, they included Zane and Michael Neese, a friend of Hannah's, who's now a friend of mine, ran that mile for Zane. And and at the end of the mile, they stop, they do this ceremony. If there's the family is there, they present them with a flag and everything. And I watched it online last year, and they did it again these previous 3 days, and it culminated on the Sunday. And I didn't know about it until like a couple of days before. And there's a lady whose son is buried at Georgia National, where Zane is, and I met her, and turns out she heads it up, and we got connected through Hannah's friend Michael. And anyway, so she contacted me a couple of days ago, and I was like, wow, that, I'm like, okay. She told me, watch this, at this time on Sunday, and I forgot about it, but I ended up watching the end of it. And anyway, at the 194th mile, Zane was among those that they honored. They read out their name and everything, and they live streamed it on their Facebook channel. And I don't know if it was recorded. If it is, I'll link it over. But anyway, wow, what an amazing thing to remember all of Georgia's fallen. And Zane was honored at mile, what did I say, 194? I think it was 194 or 198. I don't remember. 194, 198 is the last one, 194. But wow, just an amazing thing there, along the lines of what our friend Aaron does up in Michigan with the running to honor each year. Okay, let's see. Well, let's see. Can you guess, Ken and Daryl, what a hat of the week? The hat of the week has to do with something we have going on here in our nutty family, the fabulous McDonald Estate and Insane Asylum. And the hat of the week has to do with Florida, because we're heading to Florida tomorrow. So for the reasons that I mentioned before. So that's the hat of the week, Florida. Okay, let's see. Let's move on. I didn't pull any This Week in Military History items, but we do have some Veteran Cemetery Challenge visits. A couple of very unique ones, thanks to Mr. Ken there. Ken was up in New York. Ken, are you back home yet? But Ken was up in New York, and Ken got a couple of new ones for our map. I haven't plotted them on the map yet, but Ken visited Pine Hill Cemetery in Auburn, New York. And I think he has a relative there. And then Ken also visited Western New York National Cemetery. And that's a new one for us. So Ken got 2 new ones for us. Wow, I get excited when we have a new one. And I can't wait to plot it on the map. And then, of course, on his way back, him and Janet, they stopped at Arlington National Cemetery to visit his father and mother, Ken's father and mother there at Arlington. If you remember, and we'll hear about it again in December, Ken's father is a Pearl Harbor survivor, and we will hear Ken's father's story again this December. So Ken, thank you for posting those, making those visits, especially the 2 new ones. That's awesome. And then, of course, Daryl made a visit to Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery. I know the weather is getting beautiful there, Daryl, and appreciate you chronicling that. And then Jim Miller just posted right before joining, speaking of Zane, that he made a visit to St. John's there in Omaha and Omaha National Cemetery. So thank you for that, Jim. So if I add all of that up, we had 6 visits this week and 2 new visits. So we're at a total, or 2 new cemeteries. So we sit at 696 visits. Think about that. We're about to hit 700. 696 visits this small little group of patriots have made to a veteran in a cemetery. And we've done that at 164 different locations. Man, just hard to believe. So appreciate you guys doing that alongside us. Dan DeVlieger's in there, my good buddy, out in, I always forget exactly where Dan's at. So there's so many little places around Phoenix. He's actually in, don't tell me, Dan, there's Chandler. I think he's in Chandler. You've got Chandler, you've got Tempe, you've got Scottsdale, you've got Phoenix proper, you've got, all kind of little places in the valley there. It's just one of my favorite places. But good to have you in there, Dan. Let's see. All right, on to the Thank a Vet Challenge. I need to hurry it up because I got to pack still. We're going away for 10 days. I got to pack. I did get the car ready. The car is ready. All right, let's see. So Daryl had a nice visit with an Air Force veteran, Air Force Vietnam veteran called Craig. And Craig had a service dog called Spartacus. How's that for a service dog name? But Daryl had if you didn't read it, go back to Speaking of Zane Facebook group and read that encounter that Craig was involved in a helicopter crash, lost his leg and part of another. And Daryl had a conversation with him and got to thank him for his service and his service dog, Spartacus. And then Jimbo had 4 Air Force thank yous this week. Thank you, Jim. And my dad, let's see, was this week, Dad? Yeah, Dad had a Marine, no, Dad had an Air Force, a Marine, and an Army at Moody Air Force Base. Yeah, it must have went to the commissary or something, but yep. And then I had a Marine is what it was. I had a Marine, one of the guys here at WWT where I work, got a chance to spend some time with him. And let's see, Lori had, Lori had some here that I didn't get in at the last minute. 4 sheriff deputies at the fair. Yep. So let me put Lori in there. 4 sheriff. Yeah, her and Hannah took Everett to the North Georgia Fair, I think it's called, in Marietta. Let's see. So if I add all of that up, and Lori with 4 sheriff's deputies, Daryl with Air Force vet, Craig, Jim with 4 Air Force, Guy with a Marine, Daryl with an Air Force, no, Dad with Air Force, Marine, Army, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 13 thank yous. 13, so I'll have to add Lori's 4. We're at 1,690. Whoops, I didn't add Jim's 4. So we're at 1,694 thank yous. So we're about to hit 1,700 thank yous. 1,700 times a veteran or a first responder has heard thank you, or I appreciate you, or had a conversation with one of you guys. That's pretty incredible, actually. Oh, Ken had okay, Ken, I'm gonna have to add yours there. So they're coming out of the woodwork. So that would be 1,695. Yeah, Lori. So Lori has another part of her story there. And we're not going to get to do it today because I've got a pack still, but that'll give her another week to collect her thoughts on that. And maybe we do it from next Sunday from my Warriors place. They were without electricity for several days, and they finally got electricity back. So I know the internet's working because I helped them monitor that. And I got a little tweaking to do when I'm there as well, but everything should be working. We should be able to get online okay. But that is the name of that tune. So 1,695 thank yous. So not too shabby. All right. I already told you about Georgia Run for the Fallen. and My Warriors Place. That's the only updates I have about our service orgs. So I think that is it for tonight for Speaking of Zane. Man, I can't tell you enough about how much I appreciate you guys joining us and listening to me ramble about Zane and all the ancillary things that we've got going. But keep an eye on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, and depending on what we do at My Warriors Place, I'll post some pictures there. I don't know what we're in for. I just hope there's something for us to do. I got 5 or 6 people coming out on Wednesday, and then some more on Thursday. So I hope we get there and able to make an impact and get some things done. But we'll post some pictures there and let you guys know how things are going. And sure do appreciate each and every one of you, and look forward to catching up next Sunday night for Speaking of Zane. But if you have something for me, post it in the chat on Speaking of Zane, and we'll get back to you there. So, all right, folks, wish us well on the drive tomorrow. We'll stop at Buc-ee's in Fort Valley, Georgia for some fuel and pork, and hopefully make it to My Warriors Place late afternoon, early evening, and we'll let everybody know we got there safely. All right, everybody, God bless, and we'll see you later from Speaking of Zane.